Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Indian President Droupadi Murmu attends National Day celebrations of Mauritius, conferred with honorary doctorate at University of Mauritius. Prime Minister Narendra Modi attends Bharat Shakti exercise at Pokhran, Rajasthan, says the military might and indigenous capabilities represent New India. China, Iran, Russia start joint naval drills dubbed Security Bond 2024 in Gulf of Oman, aimed at jointly maintaining regional maritime security. India's President Droupadi Murmu is on a three-day state visit to Mauritius, where she attended the nation's National Day celebrations today. President Murmu is the sixth Indian president to attend the Mauritian National Day celebrations as chief guest. A state visit underscores the long-standing and enduring ties between India and Mauritius.
Qui fait le tour du monde. Le groupe captain, c'est... Elle est la seule femme pilote de...
Earlier, President Droupadi Murmu was conferred with honorary degree of Doctor of Civil Law in Mauritius. During her address, she referred to Mauritius as a close maritime neighbor and said the nation is cherished partner in the Indian Ocean region.
India sees Mauritius as a close maritime neighbor, a cherished partner in the Indian Ocean region, and a key player in our Africa outreach.
President Droupadi Murmu commuted in a metro before reaching Mahatma Gandhi Institute in Mauritius. Remembering Mahatma Gandhi, India's president paid floral tributes to the statue of Father of the Nation. It was on this day that Mahatma Gandhi commenced his Dandi March to steer India towards freedom. Decades later, Mauritius chose this very day as its national day to honor Gandhiji's contribution to country's freedom struggle. Moving on, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the western state of Rajasthan today. During his visit, Prime Minister witnessed the tri-service exercise Bharat Shakti at Pokhran field firing range in Jaisalmer city. The exercise displayed an array of indigenous weapon systems. It was a demonstration of the prowess of the country. Premised on the nation's self-reliance initiative, Pokhran holds a significant place in India's history as it marks the country's first successful nuclear weapons test. Conducting on May 18, 1974, in Indian Army's test range in Pokhran, the operation demonstrated India's emergence as a nuclear power.
और अब स्पेशल फोर्सेस की जानकारी के आधार पर भारतीय वायुसेना अपनी बमबारी से दुश्मन के टैंक कॉलम्स को ध्वस्त करेंगे। इसे कोऑर्डिनेटेड एयर ऑपरेशंस भी कहा जाता है। एलसीए तेजस अपने प्रलयकारी प्रहार से दुश्मन पर बमबारी करते हुए कुछ ही पलों में आपके सामने से गुजरेगा। उन्नत एवियोनिक्स, एकीकृत डिजिटल प्रणाली, आधुनिक हथियार
सबसे ऊंचे लेवल पर।
Addressing the event in Pokhran, Prime Minister Modi hailed India's success and growth in defense sector.
आसमान में ये गर्जना, जमीन पर ये जांबाजी, चारों दिशाओं में गूंजता है विजय घोष। ये नए भारत का आह्वान है। भारत शक्ति का ये उत्सव शौर्य की भूमि राजस्थान में हो रहा है। लेकिन इसकी गूंज सिर्फ भारत में ही नहीं, पूरी दुनिया में सुनाई दे रही है। हथियार और गोला बारूद, संचार उपकरण, साइबर और स्पेस तक हम मेड इन इंडिया की उड़ान अनुभव कर रहे हैं। यही तो भारत शक्ति है।
Prime Minister Modi visited the western state of Gujarat earlier in the day. During his visit, he inaugurated the redeveloped Kochrab ashram in Ahmedabad. It was the first ashram established by Mahatma Gandhi after coming to India from South Africa in 1915. Furthermore, he also launched the master plan of $1.2 billion Sabarmati Ashram memo for the present and future generations. PM Modi also visited Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad. It has been the endeavour of the Prime Minister to uphold and cherish the ideals which Mahatma Gandhi stood for and develop avenues which showcase his ideals and bring him closer to the people. In addressing at Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad, Prime Minister hailed Mahatma Gandhi's contribution in building India. He said Mahatma Gandhi's vision shows a clear direction for India's bright future.
जो देश अपनी विरासत नहीं संजो पाता, वो देश अपना भविष्य भी खो देता है। बापू का ये साबरमती आश्रम देश की ही नहीं, ये मानव जात की ऐतिहासिक धरोहर है। जिस आश्रम ने इतिहास का सृजन किया हो, जिस आश्रम की देश की आजादी में इतनी बड़ी भूमिका रही हो, जिसे देखने के लिए, जानने के लिए, अनुभव करने के लिए दुनिया भर से लोग यहां आते हो, उस साबरमती आश्रम को सहेज कर रखना हम सभी 140 करोड़ भारतीयों का दायित्व है। और साथियों, आज साबरमती आश्रम का जो विस्तार संभव हो रहा है, उसमें यहाँ रहने वाले परिवारों की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका रही है। इनके सहयोग के कारण ही आश्रम की 55 एकड़ जमीन वापस मिल पाई है। जिन जिन लोगों ने इसमें सकारात्मक भूमिका निभाई है, मैं उन परिवारों की सराहना करता हूं, उनका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं।
In a major boost to infrastructure in the western state of Gujarat, India's Prime Minister also inaugurated multiple projects in Ahmedabad on Tuesday. Prime Minister laid the foundation stone and dedicated a slew of railway and petrochemicals projects. He also flagged off 10 new Vande Bharat trains. Prime Minister Modi also reviewed the progress of projects. The investments will not only improve connectivity, but also boost economic growth and create new employment opportunities. Addressing the gathering after inauguration of multiple railway projects, Prime Minister Modi said development of railway is one of the highest priorities of the government.
रेलवे का ये कायाकल्प नए निवेश और निवेश से नए रोजगार की भी गारंटी दे रहा है। साथियों, हमारे इन प्रयासों को कुछ लोग चुनावी चश्मे से देखने की कोशिश करते हैं। हमारे लिए ये विकास कार्य सरकार बनाने के लिए नहीं, ये विकास कार्य सिर्फ और सिर्फ देश बनाने का मिशन है। पहले की पीढ़ियों ने जो कुछ भुगता वो हमारे नौजवानों और उनके बच्चों को नहीं भुगतना पड़ेगा, और ये मोदी की गारंटी है।
On to some international stories now. An aid ship carrying almost 200 tons of food to Gaza left Cyprus earlier on Tuesday in a pilot project to open new sea route for aid. The charity ship, named Open Arms, sailed out of Larnaca port in Cyprus, towing a barge containing around 200 tons of flour, rice and protein. The mission, mostly funded by United Arab Emirates, is being organized by the US-based charity, while Spanish charity Proactiva Open Arms is supplying the ship.
As we speak, a ship is setting sail from Cyprus to northern Gaza. It carries the most basic kind of humanitarian aid, which is almost the most needed today: food, plain and simply food for a population that faces a humanitarian catastrophe.
Hezbollah on Tuesday fired more than 100 rockets at several Israeli military posts in response to Israeli shelling. Earlier, Israeli fighter jets struck two Hezbollah terrorist sites in Bekaa Valley in Lebanon. The site belongs to Hezbollah's aerial forces that carried out various attacks against Israel. And DD India's Sarah Coates gets us more from Jerusalem.
This is the pilot program for this maritime corridor, taking this all-important aid from Cyprus to the Gaza Strip. We know that the distance this ship needs to travel is around 320 kilometres. It will take around 2 days, and on board, life-saving aid, life-saving food. This ship, known as the Open Arms, is also towing a barge. On board that barge, there is flour, rice and other protein taking to these people in Gaza who so desperately need it, with the United Nations saying that a quarter of the population there inside Gaza is now on the brink of famine. We do know there was a bit of a delay with this ship leaving Larnaca. It's been inspected by Israeli forces, who will continue to do this if this pilot program is successful. But one of the unknowns here, Ross, is that when this ship actually gets to Gaza, how will this aid actually be unloaded and then distributed, given that there are right now no working ports in Gaza? But we have heard from this aid group organising this pilot initiative saying that they are currently constructing a temporary pier, and they're using rubble from destroyed buildings in the Gaza Strip to make that.
Meanwhile, efforts to secure a ceasefire in Israel-Hamas conflict is ongoing. On Tuesday, Qatar asserted that it remains hopeful of a truce, even though they were not near to a ceasefire deal. Meanwhile, Israel has demanded United Nations Security Council to put as much pressure as possible on Hamas to release all hostages. Foreign Minister Israel Katz on Monday addressed the 15-member council, which met to discuss findings of a UN report on sexual violence in the October 7th attack.
I'm demanding from the Security Council of the United Nations to put as much pressure as possible on the Hamas organization to release immediately and unconditionally all kidnapped hostages.
At least 11 people were killed, 14 injured after a US-British coalition launched airstrikes on Houthi rebels in western Yemen, striking port cities and small towns. At least 17 airstrikes were reported, including the principal port city of Hodeidah and Ras Isa port. Meanwhile, Houthis fired anti-ship ballistic missiles at Liberian-flagged container ship in the Red Sea, but did not hit the vessel. Moving on, Haiti's unelected Prime Minister Ariel Henry has resigned from his post on Monday after holding office since the 2021 assassination of its last president. He will step down once his substitute is appointed. Henry's resignation comes after nearby Jamaica hosted regional leaders on Monday to discuss a political transition in Haiti. Ariel Henry is currently stranded in Puerto Rico after being prevented by armed gangs from returning home.
Haïti besoin la paix.
After the Council of Ministers, it has been agreed to set up a presidential transitional council. Once chosen, the council will govern over different sectors of national life. Haiti wants peace. Haiti needs stability. Haiti needs sustainable development. Haiti needs to rebuild democratic institutions. I am asking all Haitians to remain calm and do everything they can for peace and stability to come back as fast as possible for the good of the country.
Earlier, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced an additional help of $100 million to a UN-backed Haiti security mission on Monday. Blinken was in Jamaica attending the high-level meeting on Haiti, and he said the U.S. will also provide $33 million more for humanitarian assistance.
Given this increasingly urgent need, I'm announcing today that the United States Department of Defense is doubling its approved support for the mission from $100 million to $200 million. And that brings the total U.S. support to $300 million for this effort. I'm also announcing additional humanitarian assistance for the people of Haiti, $33 million to further support their health and food security.
Time for a short break. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. The SpaceX Crew 7 has completed a successful splashdown in Gulf of Mexico in Florida. BJP's Nayab Saini is the new Chief Minister of Indian state of Haryana. Earlier, Manohar Lal stepped down as the Chief Minister. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. China, Iran and Russia have started a joint military exercise in the Gulf of Oman on Monday. The joint drills, named Maritime Security Belt 2024, aims to collectively uphold and protect regional maritime security. 10 unnamed Iranian ships, boats and supply vessels and 3 naval helicopters are taking part in the exercise that will last until 15th of March. Navies of Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Oman, India and South Africa have sent their representatives to observe the drills. The Philippine Foreign Ministry announced on Tuesday that it had received several maritime proposals from China, stated they were incompatible with the national interest of the Southeast Asian nation. Among these proposals was one that demanded action indicating acceptance of China's authority over the second Thomas Shoal, which the Philippines rejected, citing violations of the Constitution and international law. China has presented a total of 11 concept papers suggesting approaches to normalize the situation in disputed areas of the South China Sea. The SpaceX Crew 7 has completed a successful splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico in Florida at 9:50 GMT on Tuesday. The crew had spent some 6 months aboard the International Space Station before their safe splashdown. The mission had launched on August 26, 2023 from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held a bilateral meeting with Belarus's Minister of Foreign Affairs Sergei Alenik in New Delhi on Tuesday. The two leaders discussed political, trade and economic ties between the two countries and exchanged views on development partnership, defence, S&T and education. They also discussed the regional situation and cooperation in NAM, SCO and United Nations. And BJP leader Nayab Singh Saini took oath as new Chief Minister of India's northern state of Haryana. The development came after Manohar Lal Khattar, along with his cabinet ministers, had resigned this morning. A legislative party meeting unit appointed State Unit Chief Nayab Saini as the new Chief Minister of the state. Haryana government administered the oaths to Nayab Singh Saini. India's Union Minister of State Dr. Jitendra Singh has launched the Common Fellowship Portal, which will streamline the entire process of accessing information under various fellowship schemes. The Common Fellowship Portal will help in nurturing scientific temper in young minds for Viksit Bharat or Developed India.
Young aspirants have to deal with multiple ministries. So the young boy or a young girl doesn't know what is happening through Ministry of Education or Ministry of Health. For him or her, it's just the fellowship. So it becomes another challenge for them. So that's how we started. We thought we would have a committee because there were certain exams being conducted in UGC. There was an exam being conducted by UGC, also by CSIR. So many fellowships overlapping with each other. AICTE, ICRMAR. So, and then later on, the Department of Biotechnology took over the responsibility of coordinating for this common portal.
Let's now take a look at other stories making news today. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia, along with Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant, inaugurated regional airline Fly 91 and flagged off its maiden flight between Goa and Lakshadweep on Tuesday. The airlines informed that scheduled flights will commence effective from 18th March this year in a phased manner. In a joint operation of Gujarat Anti-Terrorism Squad, Indian Coast Guard and Narcotics Control Bureau, 6 Pakistani nationals were nabbed with a huge quantity of drugs worth approximately $58 million. The boat was apprehended about 350 kilometers from Gujarat into the Arabian Sea. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar interacted with 77th batch of Indian Revenue Service officer trainees in Parliament House complex on Tuesday. Addressing the officer trainees, Vice President said that with a population of 1.4 billion, our tax collection potential remains largely untapped and emphasized the need for increasing the number of taxpayers through counselling and support. An Indian Air Force aircraft Tejas crashed near Jaisalmer in Rajasthan state during an operational training sortie on Tuesday. The pilot ejected safely before the crash. A court of inquiry has been ordered to ascertain the cause of the accident. Let's turn to sports. Delhi Capitals captain Rishabh Pant is all set to make his return to the field as he got the match-ready fitness certificate from National Cricket Academy in Bengaluru ahead of the IPL 2024 season. The Indian Cricket Board (BCCI) announced on Tuesday Pant has been given the green light for the upcoming 17th edition of Indian Premier League (IPL) commencing March 22nd. BCCI shared on X that Pant, after undergoing an extensive 14-month rehabilitation process following a serious road accident on December 30th, 2022, has been deemed fit for his role as a wicketkeeper batter in the forthcoming IPL. The Indian cricketer, who met with a horrific car crash in December of 2022, leading him to miss a packed cricketing calendar ahead, will make his much-awaited return for the Capitals when they open their IPL campaign against Punjab Kings on March 23rd in Mohali. In tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic was stunned 6-4, 3-6, 6-3 by Luca Nardi in the third round of Indian Wells. 20-year-old Italian who grew up idolizing Djokovic and is ranked 123rd in the world played the match of his life to defeat the Serbian, dropping his racket and putting his hands over his face and firing an ace, but wide to seal the win. World number 1 saw his hopes of winning a record 6 title dashed by 123rd ranked lucky loser. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. We will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.